There's a place I have found in the shade on the ground.
Good morning. Here we are on the old Glen Ellen golf course in Millis. This has all been turned into conservation land, and the other half of the course has been developed for housing. So just an interesting point about looking at trees that are growing out in the open, sort of the difference between a spruce tree and a white pine tree. So the spruce trees tend to stay narrow and have that nice A shape, and their branches are oriented more vertically. They don't have a lot of surface area that's like a pod. Whereas if you look at the pine tree, the branches come out and they're like big pods that can hold a lot of snow and ice. The reason that's important is when you do get heavy wet snows, the spruce trees tend to shed the snow and the branches bend down and typically won't break. Whereas a pine tree, the weight gets so heavy on those branches holding the snow that they'll bend down and then they'll break. They don't bend as much. Plus, one branch on the top gets loaded up, lays on the next branch, and oftentimes you get a cascading effect of breaking branches. Or in like this case, you have whole leaders that are weakly attached but heavily leveraged that'll hold a lot of snow and break. So that's when the trees grow out in the open, they'll develop these big open forms, not structurally as great as if they're growing in a forest, straight up and being protected by other trees around them. They all tend to be narrower canopies, single leaders, whereas once they're out in the open, they get sort of lazy and luxurious and spread out, which sets them up for failure in the future, except in the case of a spruce tree. That's why you'll see spruces more effective and have less damage in areas where there's a lot of snow.
No one can guess what I came